got him right here, right now with Murph and Markus. It was great to talk to him last week. It's great to have him back this week. Youngster, we always do appreciate, because I know, you're running around, you got things going on. You're there. Thank you, brother, for taking the call.
Yeah, no.
Good morning.
Come on, it's like, be honest, boys. It's great to be with you, and it's therapy for me, right? Because, again, my wife doesn't really like football. That's what attracted me to her. So kids don't really follow it very much. So, I got to get out. This is my chance to catharsis.
Are you as obsessed with football as a guy like Jim Harbaugh, who once said if they cracked open his skull, his brain would be shaped like a football?
You know what? Not that way. Jim was like over competitive. He's the guy that comes out of the restaurant and says, "I'll race you to the car."
Yeah.
And I've said that many times, and I just and then I'd be like, "No, Jim, I'm not racing you to the car." And then he would sprint to the car and hit the car door and go, "I won!" I'm like, geez, I don't know. I love playing the game. I loved what it took to be good, and how it just you had to pour yourself into it, and so I love that part. I love that camaraderie. Everyone talks about that, but I'm not the guy that, like, my brother finished playing. He played a little bit in college and didn't end up the way he wanted it to. So he took his wife and little baby to Finland to play in a semi-pro league because he just had to play some more football, And but he loves the game. Like, he loves watching it. Like, I don't know how to put it. I think Jim and I are a little bit different, but I do love football. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. You don't have to. So your brain is shaped like a normal human brain. All right. With room.
It might have laces.
Yeah. It's got lace. Normal human brain with laces, and it's made out of pigskin too. Yeah. So
yeah, right. Exactly.
All right, bro. Well, let's dive into these Niners, man. They're 3-0, Steve. They got one out. Mac Jones, your buddy, you told us you guys are kind of friends through a mutual friend. He had a knee brace on. He looked like Joe Namath or Danny Marino out there, man. I know the story this week will be Brock Purdy, but just a thought before we get on to Brock and the possibility of his return about watching that guy gut that one out on Sunday. What'd you see?
As hard as the job is to play great football in the NFL, and especially as a starting quarterback, maybe a harder job is to be backup. And to come in, to roll in, no one knows you, you never played with them before, and all of a sudden you got to go get it done. And so Mac, to me, gets a lot of credit for living it. He's put up 2 nice games. I mean, and pretty clean, and a big kind of late game victory, like the winning drive, winning field goal, like stuff that that's not nothing. And so I really appreciate that ability. Now, we know how I feel about Kyle and the system of the 49ers, but it's still, somebody's got to go do it. And he also brings a different kind of look than we've had for a long time at quarterback. You're right. It's kind of like a more old school prototypical quarterback. But he still can threaten the line of scrimmage. He can still, he's hurt, but he can still run. So I just, big, strong thrower, that's just different for us. So I think the 49er fans probably appreciate it as a new look.
Steve, do you think it's a different look because of the skill set of Mac Jones, or the way that other teams are facing off against Kyle Shanahan and maybe trying to slow down the run game and forcing Mac Jones to try to beat him?
Yeah, I think both. Everyone, look, because you see this with the Chiefs, you see this with the Rams. They every defense has to come up with something new and wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. And so, yes, they're going to be very affirmative, I guess, in their efforts to kind of stop the 49ers. It's always been the case. And that's why you get whatever defense, if you follow defense, like if you love football, if your brain is shaped like a ball, you're going to follow defenses that play the 49ers because they're going to expose everything they have. You know what I mean? And all the aspects of what they're capable of doing. And so, yeah, I think that they were trying to force, like, look, the 49ers would love to run the football. They'd love to kind of pound us and then open up the passing game. We're not going to allow it. And so I think that there's little of that. And there's also just, Mac is, he's played 50 games. And like life out there in in the wilderness in the NFL for quarterbacks can really suck. I remember when I played 1 year in Tampa, and new coach came in, and he said, "Look, I hate lefties and I hate scramblers," and I was like, "Wow." Ray Perkins was the coach, and I'm like, okay, and scramblers were like, that's like swear word. I mean, if you're a scrambler back then, like, I was like, do not call me a scrambler, bro. I'm playing quarterback and I can actually move. So like, but there's some bad spots for quarterbacks. And so Mac ran into a couple, and so did Sam, who was here. And now you saw what he did when he went to Minnesota and what he did here a little bit. So, the skies do open if you're at a place where understands the quarterback position in today's game.
I love it. Steve Young's voice you hear on the Yuma guest line. We're going to have him every other Wednesday at this time. Afternoon boys will have him every other Wednesday. I like that. What Mac did, it's not nothing. It's not nothing at all, man. 2 big wins for this team that's 3-0 now, and the schedule keeps unfolding for them. But just as we kind of watch this team take shape, Steve, the guy he threw the most balls to, or the guy who caught the most balls, was Ricky Pearsall. This kind of, I don't want to call him undersized, but he's not gigantic. He's not T.O. out there. We had a listener compare him to Jerry Rice in terms of his production. 8 catches, 115 yards, the big catch, Not a ton of separation, maybe a little. I don't know. I need the Steve Young, Ricky Pearsall scouting report. What would you like if you're in the pocket and you're looking for a guy like that?
Well, he's nifty, right? I don't know where. That's an old word. It makes me okay. Now I'm old, all right. But he's like he's Steve Smith a little bit. Like I feel like he can. He has body control, and he's gonna get open. It's not gonna be like you said. It's not explosive. It's not like he comes out of the gate and it's like, oh, watch out. But he's just he understands. I feel like he really understands the kind of the spatial relationships on the field. That's Brent Jones had that in a huge from the tight end spot, but really had it in a sense of all the people on the field and where they are and where they're going, what's going to happen, and how I can fit in. And that's just a knack. Jerry obviously had that big time, John Taylor. So, but Ricky, like as a quarterback, he's going to be where you think he's supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's like he's going to find that space, and then especially against zones. So you got to love Ricky as a young player and what he can develop into. And again, you're right, Murph. He's not. It's not like he's lined up and go, uh-oh, watch out, but he's just one of those guys.
Steve, the question is now, who's going to be throwing him passes this weekend? Mac Jones dealing with a knee injury, and of course, we'll learn more about Brock Purdy today as the 49ers get back to practice. But my question surrounding Brock Purdy is, we know that one of his key attributes is his legs and his mobility. So when he is dealing with a toe injury, is there maybe an added level of concern to put him back out there if he's not at 100% when it comes to mobility?
For sure, but that's just true for any injury, but especially with your foot. The turf toe, it's like a freaking nefarious little thing. Like like sometimes you think it's better, and then you actually have to, and then you can't test it. You can go out and practice and be careful and make sure that it doesn't hurt, and they can kind of, do all the stuff in the background, but then you got to go play. And then as soon as you do it, you're like, oh crap, because there's a ligament that's messed up, and ligaments don't, it's not a muscle. It's not like, oh yeah, rub it out, it'll be fine. And so, yeah, you've heard of turf toe, like chronic turf toe, right? You've heard people just finish their careers. Now that's not happening with Brock. I'm not saying that, but turf toe is brutal. And you think about your thumb or your big toe, if they're not doing well, you're not going to be doing much with your hands or your feet. And so, look, they said it was a couple of weeks. They think he can play. If they believe that, probably because it wasn't that bad and it's healed pretty good, and he can try to take care of it, and especially on the grass, and he's home, so that's good. So but don't kid yourself. This is not like buck up, tape it up, take a painkiller, and let's play some ball. This is the kind of thing that can hang around for a while, so you got to make sure you get rid of it. So your point is that, Marcus, is that, yeah, this could be something, so you got to be careful.
That's a little, I don't want to say foreboding or alarm. I mean, listen, but you talk about this all the time. How many NFL quarterbacks or NFL players in general aren't dealing with something, right? I mean, everybody dealing with something?
Yeah, but Murph, it's kind of like, for quarterback, if your hand is, something's wrong with your hand or your arm can't. I mean, that's like then you can't do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And in the same way, this foot, his job is to be able to make space and create and move around a little bit. And if that's limited, and he can't do that, that's a huge thing that he's going to have to overcome. And so, look, I think based on them 2 to 5 weeks. One thing about the 49ers, they're not the most effusive with their clarity on well, no one really is, but I always felt like the timelines are pretty true. You know what I mean? Like when they say someone's going to be 4 or 5, like that, I feel like they're very true about that. And so that's why I have hope, a lot of hope, because when they say 2 to 5, I'm like, this thing's probably not that bad. And so you hope that that's the case.
Yeah, because the 49ers have had a lot of bad luck this year with injuries. The latest news that Nick Bosa will be having his season be ended now that he's headed towards his 3rd ACL surgery. Steve, just your thoughts on the news that the 49ers will have to play out this 2025 season without Nick Bosa.
Well, this is a transition year. A lot of young players have to step up. It started in the defensive secondary. You got to feel like, there might be some young guys. I think I saw a couple Tongass jerseys this week. Did I? I thought maybe.
He made a big catch on that last drive. I'll tell 2 catches,
right?
Yeah.
I'm like telling you, like I said, remember last month, I was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it with guys that you're going to wear their jerseys by Thanksgiving. So, but this is the kind of thing that you can't have. If you're really going to go and win a Super Bowl, not just make the playoffs or maybe win the division or, because those are all successful seasons. But you know about how we roll. So if that's the case, this is a shot to the groin, man. This is like you're doubled down for a little while in pain because you have to take it in. Now, is Bryce Huff, can he now be something that looks like that? Alone, like in a big game without a lot of help anywhere else, and I can now be that guy. So that's what we got to have hope that people fill. And that's not the place you want to be to go running for a Super Bowl, but that's where we are, and it's not impossible. And so with great hope that we're going to kind of let it rip. I feel so bad for Nick. Nobody works like Nick. Nobody prepares like Nick. And I think Nick was actually, as he got older, a little more, I don't know, he's a leader. He's one of those guys that doesn't say much, but a huge leader, so people follow him no matter what. But I thought he was a little bit more vocal and I don't know. This is just, if I had a big knee injury 3 times in my life, I mean, it would be frustrating, tough.
I mean, kind of following up on some of the stuff you said in there about like it's brutal and you're doubled over for a while and it sucks, but you're like, you got to kind of keep going. And somebody made the analogy in '97 when Jerry Rice, arguably the greatest football player of all time, goes out, and he went out early. You guys go to the NFC Championship, so it can be done now. I know it's not apples to apples, different rosters, different times, but like it can be done. You can.
Yeah. Well, how is it getting done? Like we're scrappy, right? You've seen these first 3 games. I mean, I didn't want to come on until we're 3-0. No, but like we're like we could be you could make a case for a couple plays here and there, just like last year. Instead of 6-10, we could have been 10-6, right? And so we're 3-0, and we just got to stay scrappy and win a bunch of, like you figure if we're 10-7, 11-6, 12-5, those are all probably in the playoffs and get a shot, maybe in the home game with the division. We're 2-0 in the division. Like that's all a tremendous start. You figure you're 4-2 in the division, you're probably going to be right there to take it. And so look, there's big games coming with the Rams. I think the Bucs game, there's the things that are going to show us a little bit more, but like that's how you do it. And then you rally. It's like Hoosiers, right? Like all of a sudden it's like we're in, and this whole new group of people gain momentum, and they get to be like a tough out. Like you stare us down. We got young players. I got new jerseys on in the stands, and we're rolling. And that's how it can catch fire, and it's a lot easier to catch fire at 3-0. Than something else, right? And
yeah,
so,
like the New Jersey, like Upton Stout ripping the ball out of that guy's hands. All of a sudden, that's staying scrappy. That's staying scrappy.
And it's new players doing it that you didn't expect, you didn't know, and now, like I said, by Halloween or Thanksgiving, you're like, they're now huge contributors count it on week to week, and watch out for the Niners. So it's the kind of, now again, the risks are higher than having the best roster in football, and without any injuries, and with Nick Bosa healthy. But we cannot have more.
No.
We can't, Fred can't have. I don't
God,
want to say anything like that, but
Yes.
you can't. Like between the 4 or 5 guys that we have that are the guys that when you come out of the locker room, you're like, you got to watch out for that guy. We cannot have that again. And so, but look, in the biggest games of the year, Nick was the difference. And that's why we got to figure out a new plan.
Yeah, 49ers were able to close out that game without Nick Bosa on the field. But, Steve, to your point, last year they went 2-6 in one-score games to start the year. So far this year, 3-0 in one-score games. So who do you think deserves credit for that? Is it Kyle Shanahan? Is it Robert Saleh? Is it the players executing down the stretch? Or maybe a combination of all three?
Well, early in the season, and this is the preseason, as you guys know, because they don't have a preseason anymore, that defense is always ahead of offense, league-wide, just in general in football. And our defense clearly came out humming. And our offense will join them. It has started, and we'll get better and better. But that defense, and that's why I give Robert Saleh a lot of credit, because you still have to, new coordinator, new players, 6 guys, there's a lot of reasons why it wasn't going to be that way, and it was. And so to me, you're holding teams other than the Saints to 2 touchdowns or teens kind of scoring. You keep that up. If our average, if scoring against is in the teens for 17 games, yippee-ki-yay, let's go.
Wow, this is going to sound like a dumb question. I'm going to go there anyway, but Steve Young, you're just talking about emotion, intensity, and staying scrappy and all that good stuff. And, even like the Cardinals are a division foe. You got to get kind of dig deep. You don't like some of those guys. Seahawks are the Seahawks. I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, can you fire up for a Jacksonville Jaguars game at home? You lost Bosa. I know they're pros. I know they are. And any given Sunday, but they're human too. And here come the Jags, and you're like, yeah, I don't really know these guys. You know what I mean? Can Steve Young fire up for a Jags game?
I think at 3-0 and young players and the transition we're talking about and the excitement of being 3-0 when, like you said, it could have been another. And you look at the Ravens at 1-2 and teams that are really good. You can stumble, and so there's an automatic kind of energy about that. No matter who's rolling into town, there's also the discipline. If you're going to be a good team, if you're going to be, we don't think, we're going to attack the Super Bowl with a transition year. Then you've got to have when we say scrappy, it's gritty, right? It's that group of people that just, don't take a day off. And so that has to be the personality of this team. We don't know quite yet, but it certainly feels like we've get a sense of it. And so that way you don't have to worry about whether it's Jacksonville, or anybody. So I understand what you're saying. If that's the case, if that is a fear and it gets realized, then we're going to be we're a mid-team, right? It's not clocking, and it's not going to clock. So, in that way, whatever. We had a transition year. Nick Bosa got hurt. Brock got hurt. What do you want? We got plenty of narratives that we can start to talk about in a few more games and go, well, it's just not that kind of season, blah, 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 right? So, yeah, Jacksonville, and, it's all, it's chalk, right? It's just what happens if you allow it. But right now, my sense early is that we've got more than that, and that's exciting.
It is, man. All right, I know we got to let you go. Just last couple ones here. Just league-wide, I'm looking at the standings, and I'm seeing the Eagles. They kind of give them that little Steve Young 90s Niners vibe of being the big bully, the dominant team. You know what got revived nationally is people are starting to turn on that tush push. I know you probably talked about it all last couple of years with the Afternoon Boys, but it's back. The guards are being caught firing early off the snap. I don't know. Year 2025, Steve and the tush push. Eagles 3-0. You got to hate the Eagles. Where are we here?
Well, first of all, as you guys know, the game, I hate lefties and I hate scramblers. Well, that was a time when the game is just it's really hard for me to watch how awesome it is for a guy like me. This is my game, and so tush push is another element of that kind of, the dynamic game that is fun to watch. And I love the innovation. What I love about the tush push is it's innovative, right? You can say in a weird way, it's like it's simple, it's basic. It's like maybe the first thing that they did in 1840 was the first play was the tush push. I don't know, but it's like I appreciate the innovation. I appreciate something that you can do that's unique and different. And if it's trying to get outlawed, it must be kind of cool in a weird way. So I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with innovation in general. Murph, I'm telling you, we've had a most innovative time in football in the last 6 or 7 years because of rule changes. And Kyle's been in the middle of it. Sean McVay's in the middle of it. Andy Reid's been in the middle of it. Sean Payton's been in the middle of it. And now, as we talked about last week, it's really kind of all over the league. But it's innovation that makes the game great. And so I appreciate when I see somebody doing something that is unique and different. And I don't belabor it with negativity, like, that's cheating. Like, bro, it's in the game. Let's go. And so deal with it. Now, if they can slow it down because they can't get a jump on it, has that been the secret the whole time that we didn't see?
Yeah.
Like I never saw it. I never realized that it was there was a crack of a bat before, like but you gotta love that. But the Eagles look, the Rams look good, the Eagles look good. I think obviously the Packers we had that happen to us a couple years ago. Was it in Cleveland when we rolled in and they have a good deal? Miles Garrett said, "Hey, wake up, we're gonna smack you in the face." And so it's like it does happen, but there's gonna be some good NFC teams, and we just got to match it. And frickin' Nick. Damn.
I know. I can't believe you defend the tush push. I can't believe you defend the tush push. You're
well, I'm not defending. Look, what do you? It's illegal.
It's a rugby play. It's not. It's like the essence to me. Like, and I know we're just too late in the interview to get into the philosophical concept. But my concept of like, what is football? Are we like matriculating the ball down the field? I think like athletes have to sort of transfer the ball from one place to another, and it's not just 7 guys shoving a guy from behind. I actually think, like in 2000, I think I read that it was up until 2005, it was illegal to push from behind. Like when you were playing, nobody could push you from behind.
There was no play like that, no question. And I understand what you're saying. I get it but what I'm saying is, look, if you don't like it, stop it.
I get it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, Steve, you can also run it, right?
That's what football is, right? It's like if you don't like it, then you get up there and make sure it doesn't happen.
Or as Marcus said, you just run it yourself. Run it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Bills have tried it with Josh Allen, Steve.
Yeah. And then finally,
deal with it.
So now it sounds like you're going to go as Big Dom for Halloween, you Eagles fan, Steve Young. Hey, last one is a listener wants to know, they're a longtime Steve Young fan saying it's about that time of year. Is Steve Young's Christmas tree up? That's the question.
A little early. Come on now.
Okay. Well, there's a listener out there who says that's your pattern.
Halloween.
Your pattern
in
is
honor of the great Tom Tolbert. Yes. Halloween is up.
Okay, Halloween is
lights,
up.
Though.
Wait, Halloween is
no
up?
Lights.
Barb has Halloween
up? Halloween is up. Early this year. I think it's less kids in the house and mom has more time.
We talked about that. Yeah. Oh man, the sadness of an early Halloween with no kids in the house, man.
You guys don't know in the morning, but as you know, we usually shout out a first responder or something.
Yes.
We'll get that going.
Yes, we will.
I got thinking, I was with Jim Nantz last night and for the First Tee Gala down in Pebble Beach.
That's our guy.
Sponsored for years. Yeah. And I know he's the man.
Yeah.
And he's now the honorary captain, the chairman. And I just wanted to shout them out. 3.1 million kids nationwide are involved in First Tee, learning the game of golf and also the values that they teach. So there's people out there doing that. That's 1% of the population of the U.S. And so it's been sponsored by Pebble Beach Company and the Monterey Peninsula Foundation. Steve John and Heidi Uberoth. And so people out there doing good stuff. And so it's a quick shout out, getting warmed up.
Yeah, we'll do them all going forward. But you're right, that is I've been involved. My friend Dan Burke texted in and said that you were with Nance last night, and perfect, good, helping kids. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've actually seen it
because you got kids.
Yeah.
If you have kids that are death scrolling and they're not getting out, go find your local chapter of the first tee, bro.
And tell them to go by the youngster's house because the candy's out.
Ooh.
The candy's out.
Full-size candy bars, right,
quite out,
Steve?
but it's like, man, we're loaded up. I think it must be Tolbert's coming by. I guess. I don't know what's happening.
Tommy hands out beer at Halloween. That's what he does. Big cans. Big
I'm
cans.
coming by for a tall boy.
All right. You're the best, buddy.
Hey,
Go.
Here's a big can for you.
Go have a great day. You're the best. Take care. We'll talk soon.
All right, Murph.
Thanks,
you guys are the
Steve.
best. So great to chat. All right.
So good. Steve Young on the Sports Leader.